we are covering the weekly current affairs. You will have the this weekly test prelims discussion on Monday. Monday from 2 to 5:30 you will have the prelims paper discussion, Indian polity. I suggest all of you to attend, okay? And mains 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock I will cover, okay? Both prelims and mains. Monday is a marathon for all of you, for 6 hours for the mentorship students, and for the foundation batch students, morning till evening you have classes, literally 8 to 8, okay? So be prepared, take rest on Sunday and come prepared on Monday, okay? Now it is the time to take off, okay? Too much of crawling and walking, time to take off now, okay? So be ready. Chalo, in the weekly current affairs, I hope you are reading the articles that I am sharing on Telegram. How many of you are seriously seeing the articles? Mona Lisa? Nahi? Haan. Yesu? Not? Because very important. Bhavna? Only heading, not going inside the article. Why? Not understanding the essence, not finding time to do that. You will have to go inside. Okay? See, understand, he will make question paper only 3 sources. Try to understand. He will never touch a textbook, whether it is prelims maybe even some dimensions they may, but definitely not the books that you read. That is for sure. He will always look at higher, like what you guys read. See, I am not trying to undermine anybody, but what you all read for UPSC is crap, believe me. Especially subjects like history and all, what we all read is crap. R.S. Agarwal, Romila Thapar, ये सब scrap है what we read. The UPSC people will read books like, you know, Jayant Sarkar, you know, G.C. Pandey, Meenakshi Jain. These are the kind of books those people read. Very, very highly intellectual books. And they will pick up questions from there and ask you. So it is not meant that you also should read those books. No, for UPSC it is humanly not possible. But if you read the books that you are reading thoroughly, trying to understand the essence of the message, you will be able to answer in some dimensions. But when it comes to prelims, you will have to read the books that you are reading thoroughly again and again and again and again, so that even if some questions related come, you can make an informed guess. So, but when UPSC makes a question, especially when I am talking about prelims or mains both including, he will go first to the government websites. He will take up the institutional reports. He will go with the newspapers and periodicals. These are the only sources of UPSC. But this is very difficult for you to complete in its entirety. It's an ocean, right? Institutional reports in itself is an ocean. World Bank report on India runs into hundreds of pages. But they will read because they are supposed to ask you a higher intellectual question, right? Apart from this, if they do something is standard, I am using the word standard textbooks. What you are reading is substandard textbooks. Okay? So if you do not read the substandard textbook thoroughly, you will not be able to answer a question that is picked up from a standard textbook. So try to understand that importance. Okay? Like ancient history, what you read, what is the book that you read for ancient history? Anybody else? Ancient history is one. Are Poonam Dalal is your invention here. Outside nobody reads. Tamil Nadu textbook, government textbook, Tamil Nadu textbook. Will you read? Sir, ये book है बोल के भी नहीं मालूम. We don't even know that there is a book by this author. UPSC will read that book and he will pick up a question from there. Now that's what. I am not saying you should read them, but you should have a thorough understanding of a concept, whatever source you are reading. From there he will ask a question. He will ask a question from here, for example. So I am not saying that question इसमें से आएगा. He will read this book before making a question. And they are expert in their subject. See, ऐसा नहीं है UPSC में there is a set of people who are appointed as evaluators and paper setters for a considerable period of time. ऐसा नहीं है कि ये साल तू फ्री है यार, तू कर ले यार, वो दशहरा की छुट्टी पे गया, यू डू इट, ऐसा नहीं होता. It does not happen like that. People from a particular academic background are picked up for a particular task in UPSC. So in UPSC the question paper, if it is prelims or mains for that matter, if there is a question paper on that particular subject, a question is asked, it means an expert in that field has asked that question. It is not that I am expert in international relations, I will be given history ka question paper, Ubra you are free, you said this question. No, it is not rotation or something, it is based on your expertise. Is going to the interview level. If you have done, say for example, you have done your BSc or MSc in agriculture, the composition of the interview board will change for you. They will put one guy who is an expert on that, so that the topic concerned, area related questions are asked by him, and he will tell as regards this particular domain of our expertise, she is good or he is good, or she is average or she is average. So wherever, whatever stage of exam you are writing in UPSC, you are facing an expert in that field. So you have to, what you call, create that temperament that I have to read through textbooks, I have to read through these sources if I have to pass this examination. Okay? There is no running away. There is no running away from books in UPSC. You will have to sit, you will have to apply your head, make notes everywhere whatever you are doing. So that will only augment. See, I have generally seen the classroom lessons are over, you go back home, you don't even revise, you come back next day. But that will not, increase your level of understanding of the topic. You go back home, if they say this is the level of the subject, if I have stopped here in the classroom, this is your homework, you have to walk this, because next day when I will start, this is my takeoff level. If there is a gap in understanding this, then you will not be able to connect here. If I have to connect all these things in a classroom setting, it is a 4-year package. 4 साल तुमको ना मैं झेल पाऊंगा ना तुम मुझे झेल पाओगे for 4 years. ठीक है? So the reason why we ask this work to be done by you is, in the process you will read this also maybe. So that is the intention of one. See, there is a high probability you may forget what has been taught, but there is very less probability you will forget what you have read, and that will definitely help you in the examination. If I give you this in the form of a handout, you will not read it, you will not remember it, you will not reproduce it. Simple. So if I give you everything as a platter on a plate, gone, I am killing your chances of making it into UPSC. You may pass one stage, kahin na kahin pakad mein aa jaoge. So that is where it will be very distinctly visible that this guy or girl has not done their own homework. So you will have to do that homework. If an article, say for example CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency, एक article I have posted. Say for example today I have posted this article. It becomes your responsibility to do certain research on that. I cannot give you everything related to CBDC in a nutshell and give it to you on a page. I can give, but what will happen is you will not learn the art of digging out information from various sources. So the intention is to teach you the art of digging out sources also. Reading class notes, attending the class, you will not become IAS IPS officers. Till such time you do not go back home, read the textbook, try to decipher, come back with doubts. Sir, yesterday you told about this particular topic only till here. When I was reading through the article in internet or any other source, I came across a word this. What is this? You did not tell in the class. So that is how you enhance your knowledge base in that particular subject. See, when you see people who will pass this examination, no, they are no different than you. They are no different than you. Believe me, they are no different than you. The only difference between them and you is only 2 differences between between a successful candidate and a not so very successful candidate. There are only 2 differences. The first difference is he has researched, very very important, try to understand, researched shallowly, not depth. In depth research करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. He has researched shallowly, very important, all subjects. All subjects. If you leave one dimension of your preparation, you will not pass prelims also. Try to understand that. You will have to get expertise in all subjects starting from history to ethics. So every subject you have to do certain amount of research which is your own research, not my given content. It has to be your own research. Your own research will help you in the examination. Believe me, the moment you read a dimension or read an article, you will realize कि ये मैंने कहीं पे पढ़ा था. It is, you will never come to know कि ये सर ने बोला था. This will not come to your mind. This I had read somewhere. If that you are getting, it means your preparation was in the right side. The second dimension is, first is the researched well, and the second dimension of the difference between the students who make it and the students who do not make it is only one difference. Continuity. If you cannot ensure continuity in your preparation, if there are gaps, sir, Dashera 10 दिन का छुट्टी, I am telling you those 10 days will take you 3 months back. 3 days will take you 7 to 8 days back. 1:3, सीधा ratio है. 1:3. 1 day gap means you are 3 days behind UPSC schedule. 3 days gap means 10 days gone. 10 days gap means 1 month gone. So you are behind them. So that is why that continuum is very, very important. Continuity you have to ensure at any cost. You cannot take a break in UPSC for 2 years. You have to hold your horses of your passion, the horses of your familial trouble. If you cannot avoid, yes, you give that time. But if you can avoid that and try to give dedicated 2 years to yourself if you really want to make it. Because if you extend for 6 months, 6 months information you have to again take it into your head. You will see people 9 years, 8 years in ASHOKNAGAR. जब 2016 में APPSC का ग्रुप 1 आया था वो भी लिखा, अभी भी लिख रहे सेम स्टूडेंट है. You just imagine where they have reached in 6 years time frame. जहाँ starting point था वहीं पे आ गया फिर. So try to give a time period for yourself, 2-3 years down the line, 100% dedication. Every dimension of your preparation we are there to guide you. Any doubt you have, please come down. I have not seen any student till date in my entire 12 years of UPSC teaching telling, sir ये मैं textbook में ये पढ़ रहा था मेरे को समझ में नहीं आया. I have not understood why is it so written in the textbook like this. Nobody has come, because that hunger for knowledge is not there naturally. That is the problem. So you have to be that. Why? Because try and understand, this is not a job that you are seeking. No. You are wanting to lead this country. If you have to lead this country, you should have that level of understanding, that attitude. Change your college attitude. It will not take you anywhere in UPSC. College attitude se bahar aao and become a professional and think like a professional, act like a professional. If the day you join UPSC, think you are a bureaucrat, not to throw your weight around. Don't use that yardstick to throw your weight around. But in a situation, how if a bureaucrat is stuck in this situation, how he will react? This question should come to you. Am I behaving like a bureaucrat? Is my approach towards life as a bureaucrat? Is my learning capability anywhere closer to a bureaucrat? Am I treating the people the way a bureaucrat treats? Am I wasting time with idiots with whom I am not supposed to waste my time? Keep asking these questions to yourself. I am not saying don't have friends. Do have friends, but limit your engagement with the friends probably only for 2 years. Uske baad automatically, if you are successful, definitely you will lose them. 100% you will lose all your friends if you become successful in UPSC. Take this in writing from, because you will not have time. And if you don't make it, even then they will not be there for you. So when they are not there for you in any case after 2 years or 3 years, why to waste time with them going around, playing around, moving around? Don't do that. Okay? Reduce your time of preparation, increase the intensity of preparation and leave this place. That should be the idea. That should be the idea. And in 9 months, I will teach you every dimension of passing UPSC on your own. Understand? The underlining statement is, I will train you in all dimensions of UPSC that you pass this examination on your own, not because you are holding somebody's shoulder or somebody is holding your hand. It will not happen like that, because I am not there in the examination hall with you. Simple. Okay? So whatever articles we are posting, whatever content you are getting, please try to read that content. Very, very important. Okay? First article. What is the article about? How many of you have understood the heading? How many of you have understood the heading of the article? Huh? How many of you have understood the heading of the article? Yeah, this is the heading of the article. Gubernatorial procrastination is. ये हिंदू वाले को गोली मार देना चाहिए यार, ठीक है. द डे आई फाइंड द हिंदू चीफ एडिटर ही विल बाइट फ्रॉम मी. आई डोंट नो व्हाई ही ट्राइज टू कंफ्यूज दी. इसका हेडिंग बहुत सिंपल लिखा जा सकता है, द रोल ऑफ गवर्नर इन मॉडर्न टाइम्स, ठीक है. इसलिए इतना अंग्रेजी साला उसको आता है, इसका ये मतलब थोड़ी सबको तंग करेगा, है ना. बट ही विल ट्रबल यू. सी, अंडरस्टैंड, this Hindu newspaper is not coming only for UPSC. Come out of that mindset. Hindu newspaper is a national newspaper. The UPSC students are studying that newspaper. Understand that. So he has other dimensions also in giving these kind of articles. Gubernatorial means not anything which is related to the governor. That's all. अब this is a US word, Western word है ये. उठा के लाके इंडिया में, एशियन कंट्री में ऐसा वर्ड यूज कर रहे हैं कंफ्यूज करने के लिए, ठीक है. एंड प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन, प्रोक्रेस्टिनेटिंग इज बेसिकली ओवर थिंकिंग एंड देन इंटेंशन. अंडरलाइनिंग इंटेंट इज टू डिले, अंडरलाइनिंग इंटेंट इज टू डिले, एंड ही इज सेइंग इट इज unrealistic. Basically this article is about the power of the governor to withhold the assent to a bill. Withhold the assent to a bill. Simple logic. See, in Indian constitution, try to understand, very important dimension I am talking about. In Indian constitution, what is the procedure? A bill is introduced in one of the houses. If there is a second house, after it is passed in this house, if there is a second house, it goes to the second house. After the second house also passes, it goes to either the president or the governor, as the case may be, ठीक है. Now it says that, now try to understand, a bill does not become an act, a bill does not become an act till such time these either of these two people give their assent. Yes or no? Now you said that a bill does not become an act till such time either of these people does not give their assent. Now is it democratic? Especially in this case. ये तो फिर भी ठीक है, there is a way of electing a president, everything, the process is followed, somewhere the choice of the people, somewhere in some dimensions. But this guy, governor's appointment, no, his role is not controversial. Don't define his role as controversial. His reaction to a situation is controversial, but the constitutional defined role is not controversial. The constitutional defined role is very balanced role as a link. Not, don't say, use the word controversial. Debatable. Use the word debatable, questionable, all those things. Take. Now, as I told, if this guy does not give assent, the bill will not become an act. If it does not become an act, it means here the primacy of legislation is with whom? But is it democratic? Who should have the primacy in democracy? The people, or the representatives of the people. So it means that in our constitution there are certain provisions or certain dimensions which are undemocratic in some sense. Can I use this? Where the primacy, see, we always speak, no, separation of powers, the separation of powers, legislative power, executive power and the judicial power. Now if you stop here, is there any meaning to this power? Is there any meaning to this power? Because the bill cannot become an act till such time this guy does not sign. So that is what the article is trying to say, what all steps this guy is doing to ensure that this does not become an act. That is where, as he the politicization of the office of governor comes into play. Okay? The politicization of the office of governor comes into play here. Why? Because in our constitution certain things have not been clearly spelled out. In US, if an act is passed, if a bill is passed by the house, sent for the presidential assent, if the president sends it back, if the house passes that bill with certain amount of majority, automatically that bill becomes an act. It means there the control on the executive is much more stronger than the control of the executive in India. Yes or no? If the governor sends the bill, for the students who have completed polity, if the governor as regards the bill, he has 4 options. As regards giving his assent to the bill, the governor in Indian context has 4 options. First is to straight away give the assent. Second is to send it back for reconsideration. The third option with the governor is to withhold or okay. Here it is very clear. Here it is very clear. If he gives the assent, well and good. The problem comes here, especially here. The problem comes here, all 3 dimensions, and especially in these 2 dimensions. In this dimension, time period is not mentioned. For example, classic example, president का example. अब्दुल कलाम के पास इतने सारे mercy petitions related to pardoning power, mercy petitions with the president. He did not act on any one of them. You all tell, no, he's great personality, great, the son of Indian soil or something like that. But one dimension of his function, he did not perform at all. That he had to take, he kept on sitting with it, because the constitution has not mandated what is the time period of withhold, whether it is 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, the constitution is silent about it. It means as regards the functioning of one of the executives in the governance structure, the constitution is silent. And here, though the constitution is very clear which particular bill the governor will reserve for presidential this thing, it is very clearly mentioned, but still this is misused. And what it is mentioned, if at all the position of the High Court, if at all the position of the High Court is in question in the bill, then he can send that bill for presidential assent or anything, information or anything. But this option has been widely used by the governors other than for these purposes also. So it means again the constitution is silent, or the judiciary itself. Who is the protector of the constitution? Judiciary. So what judiciary is doing here? And if he is sending this back, once it comes back, again he has to give his assent. He has to give his assent, but again giving his assent. So that is how the office of governor has become politicized over a period of time. And now in the recent 2 incidents in this particular article, they are talking about 2 incidents, one in Kerala and the other is Tamil Nadu. In one instance in Tamil Nadu, as regards the governor forwarded the examples of Kerala and Tamil Nadu. In Tamil Nadu, the governor forwarded the bill for exemption from the national eligibility cum entrance test to the president after considerable delay. But is he supposed to? If you flip the page, the last paragraph of the first page, you read that the third option is to reserve the bill for the consideration of the president. The provision concerned makes it clear that a bill can be reserved for the consideration of the president, underline the word only, if the governor forms an opinion that the bill would endanger the position of High Court by whittling away its powers. Only then he can send it to the president. But what the governor of Tamil Nadu did? the NEET examination eligibility exemption को लेकर he send it for, now tell me it is constitutional or unconstitutional? At the face of it, it looks unconstitutional, but debatable. That's what democracy, the right to debate, the right to debate. And in the Kerala, what happened? In Kerala, the situation has become a bit curious, with the governor publicly announcing that he would not give assent to the Lokayukta amendment bill and the Kerala University amendment bill. Now, in any of this, was the governor supposed to give any public statement? Because the legislative function, try to understand, in some dimensions, the legislative function is a private functioning. You cannot make these kind of public statements that I will not as such give. It means at this particular stage itself, you are telling the people that whatever you do, I am not going to give the assent. So it will not become an act. So you are undermining the position of the legislature, undermining the position of the legislature. So that is the reason why these kind of statements should not be given by a functionary like a governor. That is the essence of the article. If you come down one more, article 200 in the first page itself, it says that before that such actions by the governors throw the legislative programs of the governments out of gear because of the uncertainty surrounding the assent. It says, therefore, the question of whether a governor is permitted by the constitution to cause uncertainty in the matter of giving assent to the bills passed by the state legislatures assumes great importance. And they say article 200 of the constitution, very, very important article. Article 200 of the constitution provides certain options for the governors to exercise when a bill reaches him from the assembly. The 4 options that we have discussed. Come to the next page. After that High Court point, the constitution does not mention any other type of bill which is required to be reserved for the consideration of the president. So only the bill where the position of the High Court is undermined, only that bill has to be sent to the consideration, reserved for the consideration of the president. It says, nevertheless, the courts have conceded a certain discretion to the governors in the matter of sending the bills to president. Conceded means given the powers to the what you call governor. The 4th option of course is to withhold, but it is not normally done by a governor because it would be an extremely unpopular action. See, read this next paragraph, very, very important. The legislature reflects the will of the people and is the constitutionally designed body to make laws. If the governor who does not reflect in any way the aspirations of the people, underline the word, the governor who does not reflect in any way the aspirations of the people of the state, refuses assent and thereby defeats the legislative program of the elected government, it would be against the spirit of the constitution. The most important word is governor who does not reflect in any way the aspirations of the people of the state, because a governor is generally an outsider to the state. Generally, if an Andhra guy is picked up to be the governor, he will not be given governorship here. He will be given governorship in maybe Tamil Nadu, Karnataka or Kerala. So he does not reflect the true aspirations of the people. And it says the fact that the constitution does not mention the grounds on which a governor may withhold the assent to a bill shows that this power should be exercised by the governor extremely sparingly and after very careful consideration of the consequences of such actions. Very, very important. And they are giving example of UK and also US. UK is self-explanatory. Now try to see the US practice. It says in the 2nd paragraph, it says, moreover, refusal of royal assent in the United States, the president is empowered by the constitution to refuse assent and return a bill to the house, but if the house passes again that bill, it with 2/3 of each house, the bill automatically becomes a law. So in the 2nd stage, the requirement of the presidential access has been done away with. So when you make a comparative analysis, a question may come, given a comparative analysis of the right of governor of a state to give his assent between India and United States. So ऐसे questions UPSC में आते हैं. These kind of questions are asked in UPSC. So very important article from mains perspective also. The lesson to be drawn from these practices is that the refusal of assent is a practice which is not followed in other democratic countries, and in some contexts it is unconstitutional, or the constitution itself provides a remedy so that the bill passed by the legislature could become law even after the refusal of assent. Okay? This is what it says. Then when it comes to the issue of challenge, one important article 361 they are talking about. See, issue of challenges in this context, a legitimate question that arises is whether the government of a state can challenge the refusal of assent by the governor in a court of law, and the straight answer to this question is no, and the explanation is in article 361. And what does this article says? Article 361 of the Constitution prohibits the court from initiating proceedings against a governor or the president for any act done in exercise of their powers. They enjoy complete immunity from court proceedings. The answer is straight away no. The state cannot approach the court questioning the authority of the governor to withhold the assent to a bill. Now there is a small catch here. Now the catch is, when you flip over the page, the catch you will understand. It says, if the grounds for refusal disclose malified or extraneous considerations or ultra vires, the governor's action of refusal could be struck down as unconstitutional. If the intention of the governor is learnt to be malified, extraneous or ultra vires, if this is proved, then the immunity enjoyed under article 361 is not given to the governor. Okay? Right. Now go ahead. This point has been settled by a constitutional bench of the Supreme Court in Rameshwar Prasad and others versus Union of India. Very important case law. Please break a box here. The court held the immunity granted by the article 361 subsection 1 does not, however, take away the power of the court to examine the validity of the action, including on the grounds of malified. So it is not beyond judicial review, it is within the judicial review if the act is by the governor is either of this. He can be, his authority can be questioned in the court of law. Okay? One more, it is claimed that since the constitution does not fix any timeline for the governor to decide the question of assent, he can wait for any length of time without literally doing anything. This is illogical and militates against the constitutional scheme in respect of law making by the legislature. Not fixing any timeline does not and cannot mean that the government can indefinitely sit on the bill that has been passed by an assembly. Article 200 does not contain such an option. Very important. This important news, two articles, article 200 and article 361, very important. Okay? So this is about the first article, first big article. The second big article is related to the the criteria for the SC status. Very important from the governance perspective. The heading of the article was the criteria for the grant of SC status. Very important for the SC status. Now the problem here is, it says that the Supreme Court of India has sought the most recent position of the Union government on a batch of petitions challenging the constitutional scheduled caste order of 1950. So the constitution scheduled caste order of 1950. This has been, multiple petitions have been filed against this order, which says that only the members of the Hindu, the Sikh and the Buddhist community can be recognized as scheduled caste. This is the order of 1950, Constitutional Scheduled Caste Order 1950. It means that two sections of the society, that is Christians and the Muslims, cannot be given the status of scheduled caste. This is the challenge. That now the question is, what Kaumudi asked, why? The question is, why? Kyun? The answer given by the union government is classical. It says there is no empirical evidence. There is no empirical evidence. Now we will understand what does this mean. We will understand what does this mean. There is no empirical evidence. Flip over the page and see the article. It says the union government in 2019 rejected the possibility of including the Dalit Christians as members of the SCs, rooting the exclusion on an imperial order of 1936 of the then colonial government, which had first classified a list of depressed classes and specifically excluded the Indian Christians from it. Even though several independent commission reports have documented the existence of caste and caste inequalities among the Indian Christians and the Muslims, the union government refuses to accept these reports on the basis that they do not have enough empirical evidence to support their claims. Now the empirical evidence, nothing but thorough research. Now you tell me, what stops the government from doing this research at least today? Empirical evidence is nothing but that is done through research, through surveys. There are so many surveys the government does, no? This survey also the government can do, no? But the government says historically there is no empirical evidence that there are caste inequalities in the Christians and the Muslims. So based on that, a particular status of being scheduled caste is not awarded to two communities, that is the Christians and the Muslims, in the absence of any empirical evidence, which is nothing but the research or survey reports of that particular inequality in the society. It says that the Supreme Court of India has sought the most recent position, so and so, who all are included in the Constitutional Order of 1950. When enacted, the Constitutional Order of 1950 initially provided for recognizing only Hindus as SCs to address the social disability arising out of the practice of untouchability. Initially only Hindus got the what you call categorization as scheduled caste. The order was amended in 1956 to include Dalits who had converted to Sikhism, and once more in 1990 to include the Dalits who had converted to Buddhism. So 1956 it was to include the Sikhs, and 1990 to include the Buddhists, the Dalit, the untouchables who had either converted to Sikhism or Buddhism. Okay? Both amendments were aided by the reports of Kaka Kalelkar Commission, very, very important. Kaka Kalelkar Commission of 1955 that allowed the inclusion of the Dalits who converted to Sikhism into the SC category, and the high powered panel on minorities, scheduled caste and scheduled tribes in 1983. So based on this, the Dalits who had converted to Buddhism were added into the list of scheduled caste in the year 1990. So this order amended twice, one in 1956, the other in 1990. Okay? It says that on the other hand, the Union government in 19 rejected the possibility of including the Dalit Christians as the members of SCs, rooting the exclusion on an imperial order of 1936. For these people, they are saying there is a 1936 imperial order which specifically excludes Christians from being declared as scheduled caste. So they are taking the recourse of that particular imperial order of 1936, right, which had first classified a list of different classes and specifically excluded Indian Christians. Then why are Dalit Christians excluded? Ever since the amendment to include Sikhs and as SCs in 1956, the Office of Registrar General of India has been reluctant in expanding the ambit of order beyond the members of Hinduism or Sikhism. So the culprit here is the Office of the Registrar General of India. Very, very important appointment. Please Google about him. Definitely a question in prelims can appear. The Registrar General, who is responsible to keep entire data bank of the population, number of births, number of deaths, all these data is held by the Registrar General of India. So Google about this particular office. Okay? Responding to the Ministry of Home Affairs in 1978 request for an opinion on the inclusion of Dalit, Buddhists and Christians, the RGI had cautioned the government that SC status is meant for communities suffering from social disabilities arising out of the practice of untouchability, which is noted was prevalent in Hindu and Sikh communities only. It also noted that such a move would significantly swell the population of the SCs across the country. However, the amendment to include Buddhist converts as SCs was passed in 1919, which at the time did not require the approval of the RGI, a mandate introduced in the rules for inclusion framed in 1999. In 1999, they changed the rule which said that even after a committee reports, if the government decides, the approval of the Registrar General of India is mandatory. So now for whatever the Sikhs have been included, whatever Buddhists have been included in the SC list, for them the RGI approval was not required. But if anybody in the future, whether it is Christians or the Muslims have to be included, the tick mark of the RGI also becomes extremely important, because they changed the order in the year 1999. Okay. In 2001, when the RGI again opined against including Dalit Christians and Muslims as SCs, it referred to its 1978 note and added that like Dalit Buddhists, Dalits who converted to Islam or Christianity belong to different sets of caste groups and not just one, as a result of which they cannot be categorized as single ethnic group, which is required by clause 2 of the article 341 of the Constitution. Single ethnic group, very, very important article. So this is one of the category for categorizing an ethnic group as a scheduled caste, as referred by the Registrar General of India. So for the Muslims and the Christians, it is very difficult to tell that these people belong to a one particular single ethnic group, and that is the reason why they cannot be included in the what you call scheduled caste list. Moreover, the RGI opined that since the practice of untouchability was a feature of Hindu religion and its branches, allowing the inclusion of the Dalit, Muslim and Christians and SCs would result in being misunderstood internationally. See the kind of excuses or the dimensions it is opening up for discussion. If you, because the practice of untouchability is a practice which is prevalent in the Hindu cultures and the branches of the Hindu cultures. If you give the SC status to Muslims and Christians, because these communities are internationally present also, there is a problem of international repercussion. That is why misunderstood internationally. So if a Christian community guy belonging to a particular ethnic group, if he is classified as SC here, it means the same person, if he is living somewhere else, he should also become that. So that is the reason why, because this community, see, that is the reason why in these kind of issues the birth of the religion also forms an important criteria, because neither of the religions were born in India. If at all you take any decision on these religions, it has always international repercussions. So that also has to be underscored while you take a decision. This ground is enough for what you call nullifying, not giving them the status of SC. Okay? The 2001 note was also stated that the Christians and Muslims of Dalit origin had lost their caste identity by way of their conversion, and that in their new religious community the practice of untouchability is not prevalent in the first place. Okay? Is there a case for inclusion? The petitions arguing for inclusions have cited several independent commission reports that have documented the existence of caste and caste inequalities among the Indian Christians and Muslims, noting that even after conversion, members who were originally from SCs continue to experience the same social disabilities. This was substantiated. They are giving these list of reports. The most important report in this list is the first Backward Classes Commission report 1953 and the Mandal Commission report. These two are very, very important reports as regards the SC statuses of the Indian Christians and the Indian Muslims. Okay? They say that even after conversion, people are facing this kind of social disabilities. Furthermore, it is not about only OBC, it is about the social disabilities. See, read the line very carefully. It is about that documented the existence of caste and caste inequalities among the Indian Christians and Muslims, noting that even after conversion, members who were originally from SCs continue to experience the same social disabilities. It means people who have converted to other religions, because in these you will have OBCs also, right? In these you will have OBCs also, right? So even then conversion mein they are finding this social disabilities. So it is not that ke SC mein hoga to nahi ho. That is the logic that they are trying to give when they are giving the reference of the Mandal Commission report. Okay? In addition to this, the petitions have argued against the proposition that the caste identity is lost upon conversion, noting that even in Sikhism and Buddhism, casteism is not present, and yet they have been included as SCs. This is a right statement. They say that in Sikhism and Buddhism, the caste identity is generally lost now, but still they have been included in the SC. So you cannot take this as an excuse to not give them the SC status, is what the petitioners are arguing in the court. Okay? What is empirical evidence that we have covered? So, however, the Union government refuses to accept the reports of the commissions on the basis that, same Angrezi, that these reports do not have enough empirical evidence to support their claims. Modi ki jai. इससे ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं हो सकता. ठीक है? Modi has decided not to give them their whatever they deserve. Insolvency and Purana student, what is the difference? Mentorship students, what is the difference? Re? Bolo? What is the difference? What is the difference? Insolvency means? हाँ, अरे प्रेसिडेंट का है ना एक वन ऑफ द कंडीशंस, द अपॉइंटमेंट क्राइटेरिया, ही शुड नॉट हैव बीन डिक्लेयर्ड एज इंसॉल्वेंट. हाँ, मतलब क्या है बोलो, पढ़े जा रहे हो किताबें. हाँ, बताओ व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस इंसॉल्वेंसी एंड बैंक्रप्सी? देयर इज नो डिफरेंस. इट इज ओनली both unable to pay back, yes or no? only legal declaration that he cannot pay back is insolvency. That's all. That's the difference. Unable to pay, yes, but if some authority decides that yes, you are now unable to pay and declared insolvent, that is the only difference between bankruptcy and insolvency. Why? Because in future if you go anywhere asking for loan, if you have been declared insolvent, nobody will give you loan. You cannot be part of any government structures if you have already been declared as insolvent. It only showcases that you could not handle your finances properly. So you cannot handle a government function. So that is how it becomes a ground for disqualification in certain higher appointments. Okay? Insolvency. So it is very difficult. You see, no, the company says, "Bhai, paisa khatam ho gaya, jo karna hai kar lo." जो करना है कर लो, इंसॉल्वेंसी डिक्लेयर हो जाएगा, तब प्रॉब्लम होगा इन फ्यूचर. यू कैन नॉट डू एनी बिजनेस एक्टिविटी वेर यू हैव टू टेक सम लोन फ्रॉम समबडी. ठीक है, पीपल विल नॉट गिव यू लोन. दैट इज द डिफरेंस. नाउ ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड, थोड़ा डेप्थ में बताऊंगा, एक 5 मिनट, ज़्यादा नहीं, फॉर द फ्रेशर्स टू कनेक्ट विद द आर्टिकल. सी, कंपनीज टेक मनी, दे टेक लोन टू डू ए बिजनेस. Many a times it so happens that the business does not run well and the liquidation of the company happens. Liquidation is whenever that your assets are being sold and whatever dues are there, people are sold out of the proceeds of the asset, whatever whosoever were due. Okay? So this process is called liquidating the asset. Liquidating means converting the assets to money and giving it to the people to whom you owe the what you call debt or money. Now in the banking, there were lot of ways and means of insolvency before. How to declare somebody insolvent, what are the various, there were so many tribunals. The debt recovery tribunal was there, the SURFICE Act was there, the Companies Act was there. There are so many ways of declaring somebody insolvent, bankrupt, liquidation process. It used to take years. It used to take years. Now by the what you call enactment of the act called Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code in the year 2016, which mandates that the entire proceedings should finish within 180 days. To reduce the time gap which was taking years before through these acts, now they said it has to be done away within 180 days. If you have to postpone, if this time has to be postponed, it can be postponed at the max till, means within 9 months everything should be clear. Everything should be clear. This is the deadline given here. But over a period of time, though initially IBC was very successful in doing things in this time frame or near in this time frame, but nowadays the IBC is crossing this also. So the entire purpose of reducing or reduction in the time frame for the entire proceedings has fallen flat. This is what they are trying, but still it is very successful, because where 10 years, where less than a year, so it is more successful than it was in the past. Okay? And one entity in the article they are talking about is IBBI, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. This was primarily set up to oversee the proceedings related to insolvency. Okay? So this was set up. Try to Google a little, 4 or 5 lines about IBBI. Certain amendments have happened recently in the IBBI. Okay? Now the article in the news is about insolvency professionals. Very, very important. In the IBC, when you will have a detailed class on IBC, in IBC there are so many entities. Insolvency professionals, you will have the financial creditors, you will have the operational creditors, you will have the corporate debtor. Like this, so many people are involved in the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code process, right? As regards the insolvency professionals, the word is professionals. It generally signifies individual, right? but now the act is being amended to include entities also as professionals. That is the article about. It says, second paragraph you see, allowing an insolvency professional entity. If you see the third paragraph, it may be recalled that the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India had in June this year issued a discussion paper that sought to widen the categories of persons to also allow entities like companies, limited liability partnership, registered partnership firms to get enrolled, registered and act as an insolvency professional. So the article heading is IBBO allows the insolvency professional entities to become insolvency professionals. So not only individuals, now the companies, now the limited liability partnerships can also act as insolvency professionals as per the suggestions sought. Okay? Now a related article related to the IBC here itself only we will cover is NCLT, National Company Law Tribunal. See, whatever the under the IBC code the insolvency professionals decide, if either the company or the person who bought the company, if they are not happy with the findings. See, there are two outcomes in the insolvency, try to understand this. The कौन बताएगा two outcomes? Two outcomes, liquidation, resolution. ठीक है? One is liquidation, the second is resolution. Say for example, liquidation means the finding by the insolvency professional that the company cannot function, it has to shut down its operations, the assets have to be sold and the whatever money is pending to somebody that has to be given. This is liquidation. Resolution means maybe little more loan amount, maybe little change in the administration, maybe little change in the ownership, the company can survive. Which is a better option? Obviously the resolution is a better option because so many people may be dependent on the company, so many employment, so many dimensions, right? So it is always advisable to aspire for resolution. But in the past it has so happened that through the IBC resolutions more liquidation has happened and less resolutions have happened, right? And one more dimension that has come out very clearly is there is a word called, this is not that haircut which you take every Tuesday, ठीक है? Barber shop वाला haircut नहीं है. This haircut is, say for example, the worth of this company is say 100 crores. When it comes at this level where there is a choice, obviously the person who is ready to buy will not be buying at 100 crores. He will be quoting a much lower price because it is in doldrums, it is in a bad condition. Say he says, I will offer only, so there is a haircut of, so the company has to bear that cost. There is a high probability they started the company, wantedly did bad things and gave a backdoor entry to somebody to buy the same company for 40 crores, 60 crore का सीधा सीधा फायदा है. You getting my point? So the always the aspiration is to keep the haircut as narrow as possible so that false practices do not happen, and always to try to go for resolution and not liquidation. But on both the fronts the IBC failed to perform well. One, more liquidations, second, higher haircuts. On both the fronts IBC has performed. And one more dimension in the second, when they are talking about the NCLT, when they are talking about the National Company Law Tribunal, as I told you, this is the appellate authority. This is the appellate authority. For your information, if somebody has a problem with the finding of the appellate authority, the direct they can go to Supreme Court. There is no High Court in between. ठीक है? directly they can go to the Supreme Court. Now if what it's saying is, before doing certain things, before deciding certain things in the IBC process, they have to consult the NCLT also before taking a call. See, read the article. Further, there are several minor procedural and uncontested matters requiring the NCLT approval, such as replacement of the IRP with RP, extension of the corporate insolvency resolution process from 180 days to 270 days, exclusion of the time period, admission of the corporate debtor into the liquidation and appointment of a liquidator. For all these things, you will have to go to NCLT. So it says, what is the heading? Need dedicated NCLT benches to handle the large default cases. Because if you do not, see, NCLT case is nothing but, in a district court, a particular court will be designated, this is an NCLT case, so that it does not have to wait in the same queue of the normal civil cases and criminal cases for its turn to come. So particular courts are designated within the civil court, that this court composition will function as the NCLT court. If you have dedicated NCLTs for large default cases, as I told you, the main aspiration is what? The main aspiration is to reduce the time period, because if you have to ensure resolution, if the resolution comes after a year, it is waste, because the operations are stopped, the machinery may go bad, the raw materials may go bad, the cost of rent and other charges will go high. So it is always advisable to do everything to reduce the time period, whether it is liquidation or resolution. If the time period is reduced, resolution becomes a more probability. If the time period is extended, liquidation becomes the more probability. So that is how trying to do everything to reduce this time period is the target. For this purposes, the article is talking about making certain NCLT benches as the permanent benches for the large default cases. This is what they are trying to say in this article. Okay? This is about the entire article. See, in the second side, a consultation paper released by the IBBI on 2022 April noted that the average time taken for admission of an insolvency application by an operational creditor has increased from 468 days in 2020-21 to 650 days in 2021 and 2022. Here itself the purpose is lost. Admission of application is taking 650 days. Resolution to पहुंचा ही नहीं. Before the proceedings start, the acceptance of the application based on which creditor? What is the difference between operational creditor and financial creditor? कौन बताएगा? पुराना वाला कोई? He is somewhere there, but not hitting the nail on its head. He is there, but see, in a company, a company will take loan in the form of money to run a business. Yes or no? The person who is giving the loan, he is the financial creditor. Yes or no? The company needs money to run, right? So whosoever is giving money, he becomes the financial creditor. The company may also take certain goods like raw materials or services also on credit. Yes or no? It can take certain goods or the services from a company as a credit. So this guy becomes the operational creditor. Earlier, when Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code was enacted in the year 2016, the operational creditor was not given even the right to file an IP case, insolvency proceedings case, because he said, no, tumko ye nahi right denge, only the IPC is a very big chapter, believe me. So the operational creditor was not given the right to file an IP initially. Now gradually he got the right. So now when the IP is being filed by the operational creditor, they are taking how many days? So it is defeating the purpose. It is defeating the purpose. What is the message here? Okay? So try to understand the difference between a financial creditor and an he is called an operational creditor because without he providing the raw materials, operations cannot happen. Without he providing certain services, the operations cannot happen. That is why they are called as operational creditors. In IBC, either the financial creditor or the operational creditor or the company itself can file for insolvency proceedings. Anybody can go. He can also go and file, I cannot run my business, band karo yaar isko. He can also go and file, he has not given my money. He can also go and file, he is not giving the money for the goods and services that I have given. Anybody can go and file the what you call IP proceedings. So this consultation paper is saying when these people are filing this IP, they are taking 650 days to decide whether to accept that IP or not. After that 180 days, 270 days will start. It means if I join everything 1000 days, it means nearly 3 years, the essence is lost. That is the logic. Okay? Now, next article. Come on, please. There is a exception in what sense? Yes, but again, see, it is, we are not discussing whether it is permitted or not. The article is saying that for everything you have to go to NCLT. It is only delaying the, because he is busy. He is busy doing other stuff. Okay? So that is why for larger credits defaults, we should have a dedicated bench of NCLT so that the decisions are fast tracked. That is the intention here, nothing else. Yeah, the new education policy 2020 prescribes no languages states can choose. This article is though self-explanatory. One dimension, this basically one committee has been formed by the government called Bharatiya Bhasha Samiti for the promotion of Indian languages, led by the RSS affiliated Sanskrit proponent Chamu Krishna Shastri. So they are basically trying to talk about preparing an action plan for the growth of Indian languages as prescribed under the National Education Policy, which says that the mother tongue to be the medium of instruction. So I have to take your UPSC classes in Telugu. Now the question is, the mother tongue of the teacher or the students? What if it differs? क्या होगा? If she is there, if I teach in Telugu, maybe she will not understand. अरे yes or no? Yes or no? ठीक है? So ये dimensions है, but now that they have given the answer RSS here, so let's not talk about that. See, what they are saying is, see, but it is talking about the problems. It is talking about when you say mother tongue, what are the problems that will come? Now that you have English, over a period of time, English has become a common language of communication. Over a period of time, in the last 70 years, thanks to the political spectrum, that English became a common what you call communication language, whether it is academic, whether it is professional scope, space, or any other interaction at international level, English is the common language spoken, right? Now, because of this, in the last 70 years, all your database has now been converted to, see, just imagine, I giving you daily current affairs, to him in Telugu, to her in Hindi, to him in Punjabi. मेरा काम बढ़ेगा कि कम होगा? My work will increase, and for on top of it, I need to have that expertise in the first place, right? So it says that over a period of time, the entire, see, you in history you would be learning, no? This was translated into this. When the Abrahamic invasions on India happened, the Islamic invasions and the Christian invasions happened, what is the first thing they did? What did the Arabs did? The Arabs translated every dimension of your life, from geometry to arithmetic to Ayurveda to your society, your holy scriptures, everything they translated to Arabic first. So that is when the time of 600 to 1200 yahi chalta raha, to 1200 AD, so that they can understand who you are better and then attack you accordingly to, so that you can be defeated. This is what exactly happened. So that is when, by changing their database, now post independence the entire database translated to English. So if I have to make mother tongue as the medium of instruction, the first and the foremost hard work that I have to do is to create database in that mother tongue related language, which is very, very difficult. Now one more problem comes. Gadwali is one where Uttarakhand people, it is a what you call language, there is no script. So how do you ensure that? Again it will be either given in Hindi or English. So does it mean that the instructions are happening in what you call mother tongue? There is a big question mark there. So these kind of problems we will face. That is the essence of this article. We will just see. We have found that there are 35 mother tongues as medium of instructions, and as part of the 3 language formula, 160 languages and mother tongues are taught. For example, Hindi is a mother tongue and a language, while Gadwali is a mother tongue, but there is no language. So that is the challenge. The first roadblock in implementing the NEP is providing study material, and our focus for the first year is to prepare books in the languages of 8th schedule of the constitution from class 1 to class or postgraduate level. So the 8th schedule of the constitution, there are 22 languages today. 22 languages mein textbooks banana hai from class 1 to postgraduate level. A big challenge in hand, that's what they say. Apart from the textbooks, we need to prepare teachers to be bilingual. We need to prepare teachers to be bilingual. Then there is a need to ensure employment, not just teaching jobs for language students. We have held discussion with the chairman of the National Skill Development Corporation on incorporating languages as a qualification. See, there used to be one English serial, I do not know, I am also forgetting the name, on the English language only. All Asians, Africans are in the classroom, where an English teacher will come and try to teach English to them. It's a very funny serial. It used to come. An excellent teacher who comes to teach English language to them. So the classroom composition is, there is an Italian sitting, there is a Chinese individual, Indian is there, Pakistani is there. In the backdrop, the Indian and Pakistani are keep fighting. The Chinese student is always saying China is the greatest, China is the greatest. The Italian student is trying to do something. The French guy is coming to the classroom with a liquor bottle in the classroom. So all these dimensions are very beautifully woven in that history. But if you see the background, it means there were times when people, when they used to go to America for livelihood or for any other reasons, they had to be specifically taught this language so that they can communicate with each other. So that was the importance, because you have to learn the language to survive there, to work there. But now does that need arises today? Does that need arise today? Largely no. Why? Because they have been successful. See, the biggest reason what it is told today that the world accepts US as the world superpower is primarily because of the language also. Primarily because of the language also, because over a period of time, one thing they were successful, the imperialism or the colonization ensured that they can sell the language to the world. The moment you sell the language to the world, the language will bring with it pista, pazza, burger, sab aaya. You are all wearing pant and shirt. This is not Indian, what you call dress attire. We are wearing all these things, right? Now in most of the government institutions, the formal dress attires are prescribed coat and tie. Just imagine, I am posted in Chennai, the sultry weather, I am wearing a coat and tie. It is idiotic, but without applying our head, we have incorporated them as part of our formal dress etiquette. So this is where they have been successful in this, successful in this, successful in this. So try to understand the essence why this language becomes important. So now by bringing back the mother tongue, is the intention only to change the language? No, the intention is gradually to change the socio-cultural landscape also. That is the higher perspective. That is the higher perspective which is beyond the scope of this article. They are talking about certain states also. It is self-explanatory. You don't have to worry about that. The next article is about APPSC, Armed Forces Special Powers Act. The Armed Forces Special Powers Act. Two articles related to this. They are trying to see. Recently, this was also in the news. The left-wing extremist areas is under an ebb. It means the influence is reducing, and they are also now talking about reducing the ASPA also in certain northeastern states. See, when I started my UPSC preparation, when I started as a kid, student like you sitting in the classroom and learning, there was a time when, except for the state of Mizoram, because in Mizoram after 1987 the Mizo Accord was signed. The one personality called Phoolal Denga, revolutionary, probably the strongest revolutionary our soil has seen. Phoolal Denga, uska kabhi life history padna. This guy, if he stands, the people will just walk where he wants them to walk. That is the kind of charismatic personality he was, Phoolal Denga. But with a stroke of pen, everything settled down. So that is why the Mizoram's Mizo Accord of 1987, one of the biggest achievements of Rajiv Gandhi, is known to bring lot of peace in the northeast. After 1987, Mizoram has never seen any major violent activity eruption in that particular state. But except for this state, in entire northeast APPSC was there. But today if you see Meghalaya, no APPSC. If you see what you call your Tripura, there is no APPSC. Over a period of time, in all the states, the APPSC is getting lifted. It means the security situation is improving. If you know, recently the government also decided to remove the Indian Army also from the northeastern region and give the responsibility to Assam Rifles. So the reduction of APPSC, that's what the article says. Government may lift APPSC in 4 states after what? After the Naga Peace Accord. After the Naga Peace Accord, whatever this peace accord they are about to sign, after that the APPSC may be lifted, whether completely or partially is yet to be seen. They are not saying whether it is completely or partially. As of now, APPSC is in Assam, is in Nagaland, it is in Arunachal Pradesh, and it is in Manipur. These are the 4 states where APPSC is invoked even today in some dimensions, in some states completely, in some states in parts. Arunachal Pradesh, it is primarily in certain police stations areas only. Okay? The APPSC, Armed Forces Special Powers Act. The government is saying once the peace accord, the Naga peace accord is signed, maybe the APPSC may be lifted in some of the states partially or maybe in some of the states completely. So it only reinforces the belief system that the security situation has improved. The security situation has improved. And believe you me, in states like Assam, very, very important, in the northeast insurgency, what you call, it will be taught to the foundation students. In the state of Assam, the continuation of APPSC has been one of the reasons for continued insurgency in the state. The 2 major dimensions, one is illegal migration, second is the imposition of APPSC. Just imagine, since 1958, APPSC is in vogue in Assam. It means good about 70 years say they are fighting the, see APPSC when it is implemented, that area is declared as a disturbed area, and the armed forces who are operating in that area, they get a blanket sanction to do. The armed forces personnel get the authority to even kill somebody even on suspicion. Try to understand the importance that is given to them. So that also became a bone of contention for the rising insurgency in the northeast. So probably the lifting of APPSC may bring in more peace, and more people will give up on the weapons and arms and ammunition and join the mainstream society. That is the intention of the government. Okay? So that is what the article says about, and they are talking about the section 3 of the act. The state governments and the ministry have concurrent powers to notify areas under the Armed Forces Special Powers Act. So this basically the section 3 says that who all have the power to declare an area as a disturbed area. Very important dimension of APPSC. The central government, the state government, the governor on behalf of the state government, and in the union territory, the administrator of the union territory has the power to declare a particular area to be a disturbed area. What do you see? What do you see? What do you see? What do you see? And even the state governments can also do, but in that case also his role will come into play. So either the central government, the state government, or the union territory, the administrator of the union territory can declare the whole state or the union territory or part of it as a disturbed area. If say for example this is Assam, if there are say 18 districts in Assam, the entire state of Assam can be declared as a disturbed area, or only certain districts can be declared as a disturbed area. So that is what is the section 3 of the Armed Forces Special Powers Act 1958 is what they are talking about, section 3. When it comes to J&K, this 1958 Act becomes 1990 Act. Only two places where APPSC is in vogue, the state of J&K and certain states in the northeast. It is not in vogue, very important. APPSC is not in vogue in the left wing extremist areas. There is no APPSC in left wing extremist areas. Okay? See, if you read the line, in Assam the ministry was issuing the disturbed area order till 2017. Which ministry? Ministry of Home Affairs. Since then Assam has been renewing the notification every 6 months. It means after 2017 it is the state government that is continuing. But now a small caveat or a catch here is that the Supreme Court had told that you have to give the reasons in writing. Reasons in writing, why do you want to continue this? Before this 6 months business was not there. Before this, every 6 months the declaration of an area as a disturbed area has to be renewed. This was a provision included by the Supreme Court in one of its findings, when it said that after every 6 months the authority that imposed APPSC, the same authority to take cognizance and decide whether to extend APPSC beyond 6 months or not. If it wants to extend beyond 6 months, it has to give the reasons in writing for extending the APPSC beyond 6 months. And it can be done only by the authority that had invoked APPSC for the extension of APPSC. Say for example, so in the 2017 tak in Assam, central government was doing, the Ministry of Home Affairs. After 2017, central government stopped and the Assam state government continued to declare a particular area as a disturbed area. Assam was burning. There was a time when in the 90s and the late 90s and early 2000s, Assam was the flashpoint of insurgency. There was times when the Ulfa leaders used to command even the government authorities to do what they wanted them to do. That was the times in late 90s and early 2000. But what the situation today has is more or less under control. More or less under control. Okay? Then all that is self-explanatory. ASPA extended in Nagaland, Arunachal also. See, Ministry of Home Affairs. So, in Nagaland and Arunachal Pradesh, who had extended the ASPA? It is the central government. In Assam, it is the state government who is doing. Now, the homework for Manipur, कौन करता है? Manipur, who does? Homework. Manipur ASPA extension by central government or the state government. This is homework for you. Yeah. Next article is White House is calling somebody. White House is calling OPEC plus supply cut move short-sighted. White House को कोई काम नहीं है, OPEC वालों को और भी कोई काम. The freshers to Google about OPEC and write all important points, including the list of 13 countries who are part of OPEC and also the countries which form part of OPEC plus. Very, 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 very important. From Indian perspective also very, very important OPEC. See, this is a group of countries which are basically oil rich countries, right? These are the countries who take decisions on supply of oil. Okay? Oil is basically petroleum. See, we know supply, demand, price. Yes or no? Supply, demand and price. These are the three market determinants. Yes or no? For anything, these three idiots will only play a role. Yes or no? Because of the Russia-Ukraine war, we assume that the demand is constant. Because of the Russia-Ukraine war, this supply has reduced. Understand? If the demand being constant, the supply got reduced, the price will go high. The price will go high. This is the present situation. And this supply crunch is as a result of two idiots fighting Russia and Ukraine. Right? Now, adding to the list of idiots, these countries decide to reduce the supply. Demand being constant. Already the prices are high. Now, if the supply from these countries also further reduces, what will happen to the price? And who will bear the cost of this price? Primarily the importing countries, importing oil or natural gas, whatever you call it, importing countries. And Europe is the biggest importer of oil and natural gas. And Europe is whose baby? American baby. So the baby is crying, so mother is also crying. Mother is saying the White House calls the OPEC plus supply cut more short-sighted. In this OPEC plus, the father has entered. So the mother and the baby are crying. They will keep crying. And who is benefiting out of this? This guy and the other major, including Russia. So that is how we have created a vicious circle of interdependence between each other. So that is the reason why one small decision here, one small decision here, that is what Jaishankar also told on the platform of United Nations, no? My back is breaking in paying the oil price. This is what he said. So in this scenario, and if this guy also reduces the supply, further creating a supply crunch, the demand remaining constant, the price will go sky high. कुछ नहीं कर सकते, ठीक है? चलो. In this, these two are important. One more reference they have given of G7 countries, the freshers. Please make some notes on G7 as well. Very, very important. Yeah. The UN Council rejects the debate on Xinjiang. I am personally hurt by India's abstention in this. I am personally hurt. Why? Because see, this is a very beautiful article. इसका स्पेलिंग कुछ भी लिखने से शायद वही आएगा. Xinjiang human rights violations. See, in the General Assembly, in the Council, the UN Council, the Human Rights Council, the United Nations Human Rights Council, whenever a particular policy document is introduced or adopted or accepted, voting happens. Okay, who is wrong, who is right, who is absenting and other things. So, a proposal was presented asking about, should we ask China what it is doing in Xinjiang. This was the heading of the title of the proposal. This proposal was put forward by, just see the list, proposal by US, Australia, very beautiful outcome from this, Canada, France, और कौन है, Germany, Norway, Sweden, very important, big idiot. They are all in some dimensions anti-China, all. This guy wavers, but he is also that. And see the list of countries who abstained from voting. Who abstained from voting? कौन है? All Argentina, somebody. Two important countries who abstained. Most clever decision. I am deeply hurt by this. I, if not proposed, at least supported में मेरा नाम आना चाहिए था. This was the time that I tell to the world, I want to raise a finger against China also, but we realized not to, maybe some Russian influence here. So that is where you will have to understand. And the people who signed against, नाम अगर पढ़ोगे, in every country China has given money. Debt trap डिप्लोमेसी, और उन सब में सबसे पहला नाम है I don't know on what ground he wants to fight with India. There is no moral ground, there is no economic ground, there is no military ground, but he still wants to fight with India. Nepal, Pakistan, UAE, Sudan, Senegal, Namibia, Mauritania, Kazakhstan, Ivory Coast, Indonesia, everybody. China तो obviously करेगा ही. श्रीलंका की हालत कुछ और है, क्योंकि एक प्रपोजल उसके खिलाफ भी है. He was probably absent. ठीक है. So there was one article on Sri Lankan human rights violations also, right? That is how. Next article is important, the Delimitation Commission, very important from your prelims perspective next year, delimitation, because this has come under lot of scrutiny. We will try to cover next 2 articles in another 10-15 minutes and we can close the class today. J&K delimitation orders have acquired force of law, very important. I think one prelims question also I asked today from this, है ना? The delimitation के ऊपर I asked a question today also. I think it was related to the census, 2001 based census. The option was 2011, है ना? It is 2001 based. ठीक. How many of you do not understand the meaning of the word delimitation of constituencies? No problem, raise your hand. So the freshers, no idea. Repeaters. बता भाई उदय. What is delimitation? I think one more option was there, no? Rajya Sabha ka something related I gave. One more related to delimitation only. Today's prelims. I don't remember the exact explanation. Monday hai. The freshers also attend the explanation session. Lot of insights in the explanation. So even if you have not attended the basic foundation classes, attend the explanation. Some insight you will get. Okay? Once the your foundation happens, that time again things will be taught to you, but try to attend. You will get lot of information. See, बताओ. According to population. The division of geographical areas based on, very important, based on, for freshers listen carefully, you have political distribution district wise, but it may not be sacrosanct for constituency based description. Say for example, Telangana state has how many districts? 30? यहाँ तेलंगाना वाला कोई भी नहीं है, सब आंध्रा क्राउड सिटिंग हियर. చెప్పు 30 నువ్వు అనుకుంటే కుదరదుగా చెప్పాలి. 32 33 गूगल करो. केसीआर नाराज हो जाएगा नहीं तो, गलत लिखेंगे तो मार पड़ेगी. भावना, यू शुड नो योर ओन स्टेट. 30. अरे रिसेंटली एडेड 33 recently added. There are 33 districts where in Telangana, but when it comes to constituencies, it is the basic number of seats a state has in Lok Sabha that is linked with that. So this may not be 33. What they will do, the delimitation commission will divide the geography of a state based on population. So this has been fixed for 2001 census का population report के हिसाब से this has been fixed, and the act of the parliament told that till 2026 we will not amend it. Yes or no? Till 2026 no amendment to this constituency based census will happen. So till 2026 the distribution of constituency will be based on 2001 census only. Now the question is why it is in the news. Now what you call, we know that this was a state before, now it became, हम थोड़ा उल्टा चल रहे हैं. Generally it is when the integration of India happened, part C state, अरे याद है, part C state, then upgradation to union territory, then upgradation to a full-fledged state. So now from full-fledged state to union territory, so it is going against the spirit of federalism, because if it is state, more autonomy, if it is a union territory, less autonomy, because it will be administered as a centrally administered territory, CAT हम बोलते हैं इसको. So that is the reason why it is going against the spirit of federalism. Now read the article. It says the Home Ministry and the Election Commission and found themselves on the same page in the Supreme Court, with both agreeing that the delimitation orders notified in the Gazette redrawing the Assembly and Lok Sabha constituencies in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir following the Article 370 have acquired the force of law. Be with me, don't worry. the government and the top election body were responding to a petition filed by Srinagar resident so and so and so and so, challenging the constitution of the Delimitation Commission. The petition had also sought a judicial declaration that the increase in the number of assembly seats from 107 to 114, including 24 seats in POK in Jammu and Kashmir, was unconstitutional and ultra vires the J&K Reorganization Act 2019. So, when the delimitation happened as the result of 2019 August 5th revocation of Article 370, the Union government carried out certain changes in the constituencies, in the assembly constituencies. What is these changes? They have increased the number of assembly seats from 107 to 114. This is what they have done, 107 to 114. But as I told you in the before slide, till 2026 it was not supposed to be touched upon, but because the entire reorganization of the State Act was passed, based on that they increased the number of assembly seats from 107 to 114, which also includes certain seats of Pakistan occupied Kashmir also. The plea said that the August 5, 2019 was to unite J&K with India. Then the delimitation process had defeated the new order of one nation, one constitution. The petitioners had questioned why J&K was singled out for delimitation when Article 170 of the Constitution has provided that the next delimitation in the country would only be taken in the year 2026. When this was decided as per the Article 170 that the delimitation will not be touched upon till 2026, why the state of what you call Jammu and Kashmir or the Union Territory of the Jammu and Kashmir was singled out? Okay, is the petitioner's question. The EC and the ministry responded that the petitioners had no jurisdictions even to comment on the government's powers to form the Delimitation Commission. The center derived its power from power to form, fix the scope and tenure of the Delimitation Commission under Section 3 of the Delimitation Act of 2002, which is special legislation. So, the 2002 Act which is there, as per the Section 3 of the Delimitation Commission Act 2002, the government has the power to form, fix the scope and tenure of the Delimitation Commission. With regards to the increase in the number of assembly seats, the Election Commission and the government said the order of the Delimitation Commission was already notified on 5th May 2022 before the August 5th decision. This was followed by public sittings in the Union Territory to afford full opportunity to the members of the public to make oral and written submission to the Delimitation Commission. Subsequently, following the Gazette notification, the delimitation order had already been brought into effect from May 20th, 2022. The delimitation order cannot be re-agitated in a court once it had gained finality by publication in the Gazette, the affidavit said. Once this Delimitation Commission about this was publicized in May 2022 through an issue of the Government Gazette, it cannot be questioned in the court of law, is what they are. Nobody can question the authority of the state, right? On March 6, 2020, the center had issued a notification constituting a Delimitation Commission chaired by the former Supreme Court Judge Justice Ranjana P. Desai, important, underline, Desai, for delimitation of assembly and parliamentary constituencies in the Union Territory of J&K and in Assam, Arunachal, Manipur and Nagaland. So, 2020 mein hi they had what you call done this, started the work. So once they have started the work in 2020, it's 2020 only. Now you cannot question, because the authority is derived from section 3 of the Delimitation Commission Act 2002. So keep your mouth shut. This is what is the message they are giving. Okay? Now the indoor city, I think couple of questions came from this Swachh Sarvekshan 2022 also. The indoor city in continuation for the 6th time, I think, right? For the 6th year in a row has been adjudged as the cleanest city, 6th time, and Madhya Pradesh is the cleanest state in the country, right? But before Madhya Pradesh, which state was the cleanest state? छत्तीसगढ़. छत्तीसगढ़, अरे बोलो इससे पहले 2021 स्वच्छ सर्वेक्षण. बॉक्स बनो. कंपैरेटिव एनालिसिस इंपॉर्टेंट. स्वच्छ सर्वेक्षण 2021. सूरत is the second cleanest city. Last 3 years Chhattisgarh was the cleanest state. Last 3 years. So for the first time, last 3 years Chhattisgarh has lost the first position. Okay? It got relegated. Relegate means lower in the order. And Surat is the second cleanest city, and Navi Mumbai ranks a close third in the category of cities with a population of more than a lakh individuals, right? In the population category of less than 1 lakh, Panchgani and Karad from Maharashtra bagged the first and the third positions respectively, while Patan from Chhattisgarh bagged the second position. So less than a lakh, 2 cities from Maharashtra got the first position, Panchgani and Karad. When it comes to the second position, Chhattisgarh's Patan. Tirupati received the best city award in Safai Mitra Suraksha category, while Haridwar in Uttarakhand received the award for the best Ganga town in more than 1 lakh population cities. Shivamogga in Karnataka received the Fast Mover City Award, very very important. The state award saw Madhya Pradesh emerge as the cleanest state in the category of more than 100 urban local bodies, relegating Chhattisgarh, the cleanest state of the previous 3 years, to second place. Maharashtra emerged as the third cleanest state. Similarly, Tripura got the cleanest state award in less than 100 urban local bodies category, dislodging Jharkhand, which had won in the last 2 consecutive years. Jharkhand and Uttarakhand received the second and the third spots respectively. Awards were given by so and so as part of the Azadi at 75 Swachh Sarvekshan 2022, hosted as part of the Swachh Bharat mission. And she also released the Swachh Bharat dashboard, very very important. Now the homework for you is, Telangana also got lot of awards in the Swachh Sarvekshan 2022. What are those awards? Homework करो 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 करो. Interview में ऐसे सवाल पूछे जाएंगे तुम लोग. Telangana also got some awards. What are those awards? Try to understand. ठीक है? Yeah. Any questions on what has been discussed today, or for that matter all the articles that have been posted to you in the last 1 week? You have a general doubt about POK? हाँ बोल. Come again. It has? Yes.
At the same time, Pakistan also considering that it's part of the reserve.
See, what happens is, try to understand.
My question is whether elections are really happening there from Indian side or Pakistan side?
No. That's the logic. See, obviously the election commission is not going to POK to contest the election, to carry out the, see, if there are 23 assembly seats reserved for POK, this is your question. Is election commission really going to POK and conducting elections in the people, and a leader is getting chosen from there? The answer is no. but we have to continue reserve these seats, because in future if you have to stake claims on POK, you need to have these kind of arrangements in place. What happens is, the moment India says POK also belongs to Kashmir, if this arrangement is not there, the Pakistan will stand on the UN platform and say, India does not even have constituency assemblies there. How can they claim that area as theirs? So we have an answer to them, Bhaiya, 23 mere bhi hai wahan se. I am not able to contest elections because you are not allowing me, but that territory belongs to me only. So these kind of political arrangements have to be, not political, polity related arrangements have to be made to showcase that that territory belongs to us. Okay, that's the logic. Getting it? But nothing is happening.
Pakistan has also the same view on the Kashmir also.
Yes, obviously. It is reciprocity. Take it is same thing. We will not allow the Pakistan Election Commission to come and do voting in Indian occupied Kashmir. They call it IOC. The way you call it IOK, POK, they call it Indian occupied Kashmir, IOK. Okay? So neither we are going there, neither they are coming. Very recently the J&K map has been released. The government has released the map of Jammu and Ladakh. Please see the alignment. You will be surprised to see the alignment. Till the now it is Ladakh which has the boundary with Afghanistan, not Jammu. So try to see the map. Recently the map has been released. So see that, important from the prelims perspective. Okay? Which of the following union territories or state borders with Afghanistan? There is an option of Jammu also. So don't get confused. It is a Ladakh which has the, as per the changed this thing. They are showcasing maximum part of POK under Ladakh. It has a higher level of what you call reflections there. What else?
Sir, scheduled caste.
In scheduled caste?
Yeah, sir, you mentioned misunderstood internationally.
Yes.
But it is completely interest of national nation.
No. What he is saying is, if I say Muslim belonging to this particular section are scheduled caste, because this religion did not originate in India, and this religion did not originate in India, and the people of this religion are spread across the globe. So my categorization of a particular section of those people in India, what is the position of people in another country? So am I jeopardizing their what you call stature also? You getting my point? What he is trying to say is, if I tell, say these 1 lakh people are scheduled caste in India, maybe the same what you call descent people are there in Pakistan also, or there in some other countries also. Who will justify their this thing? So it will have international repercussions. They will also start agitations there. India has given SC status, why are you not giving? So then it will have international repercussions. So it will be misunderstood internationally. So that is one reason why we cannot give. Excuse है बस, that's all. ठीक है, leave it there. Let's not discuss beyond this.
Like people in Jammu Kashmir who are favored to the Pakistan.
Come again.
As the people in Jammu Kashmir, they are favored to join in the Pakistan.
Who told you this?
Some people are there, some.
Who people who are telling this have never visited J&K.
Like same people are there in
Listen, listen,
who are want to join.
listen. Push factor, pull factor. Push factor, pull factor. POK to India. What are the push factors? What one? Can I say non-secular fabric first? Pakistan is a theocratic state. Are you understand? Only 2 countries in the world, Israel and Pakistan, who are theocratic states. Means uphold a particular religion. That is the what you call bone of this thing. So there is no secular fabric in POK, and they are seeing neighborhood, they are free to do whatever they want to do. It will act as a push factor, the non-secular fabric. No economic growth, religious subjugation, military pressures, so many things. These are all the push factors. These are all the push factors that people would like to come from here to here, and exactly opposite would be the pull factor, right? So if you go for a voting, even today, believe me, more people will opt to do this, because there is no futuristic growth in POK or Pakistan for that matter. So would you aspire to be with growth or against? Getting my point? Don't get carried away by rumors. People who told this statement that they want to join Pakistan, they have not visited POK or for that matter J&K. So don't get carried away. When people go to vote, no, they see all these things. Even though they are uneducated, they know what to look for in life. Sikkim, 97.8 people voting to. Now don't compare this voting with Russian voting. Don't do that mistake. Okay? Oh, his father, he knows how to behave. Okay? So Russia, don't apply any rule book to Russia. Don't do that mistake. Yeah. He has to be like that. Otherwise he will be. Okay? Yeah. What else? भूख नहीं लग रहा है किसी को? Nobody is feeling hungry? बड़ा लंबा चैप्टर है, बहुत लंबा चैप्टर है. Why? Because see, the reason why it is happening is you have to understand the population dynamics for that. The constituency distribution is dependent on the population in that particular constituency. If in a particular constituency, say for example, there is population is more dense, if there are more than 1 lakh people staying in that particular dense, it means that it has to be divided. So you will have to find a middle ground. ये कब तक करेंगे ऐसे? So does it mean before every election you should have a delimitation commission? Technically yes, right? But it is a big exercise. Try to understand. It is a big exercise. So when we saw the growth of population, because population explosion happened in this time frame, right? The population का जो the what you call stagnation is coming 15, 16, 17, 2015, 16, 17 is the time frame when we were able to achieve this stagnation. So the 90s period, the 80s period and early 2000 period was population boom. So 2001 census जब हुआ वो आते आते 8-10 साल हो जाते. By the time you get the census 2010 हो गया होगा. So that is when it is not more than 10-15 years, because it is a big exercise. So before elections, if you go for delimitation, there will be too many fights. It is wrong, the findings are wrong. So allegations like these court cases, ये सब चलते रहेंगे. So for a considerable period of time, the government takes break. So whatever it is be, let it be like that. We will see it after 15-16 years. So that is the reason why they take that gap. Because if you go for delimitation commission before election, you are not a small country. You are a huge country here, okay? So it takes a lot of time and effort to do things. Now the question that comes is it that priority? There are other priority things to do to the government, right? There is so much of machinery that gets involved in the delimitation. For ये 4-5 state के लिए जो छोटा state है, Nagaland कितना, the population is not that dense. For those states only it took so much time. So आप पूरे इंडिया का हर इलेक्शन से पहले करना बोले तो मुश्किल है. From the administrative feasibility perspective, you create a gap. Okay, till 2026 we will not disturb the constituencies. Then again we will go ahead, because when this was done last time, so much of what you call criticism was there. So the election schedules get disturbed. So that is the reason why you create a gap. Maybe जब 2026 not very far, right? आने वाला है 4-5 साल में. So once it is done, maybe 2050 we'll decide कि 20-25 साल शांत बैठो अभी, जो है वह जैसे चलने दो. So this is to create more and more space for administration to take care of things which are more important. ठीक है? Yeah.
సార్ ఇది ఒకసారి దళిత్ ముస్లిమ్స్ ఉంది కదా, అంటే వాళ్ళని ఇంక్లూడ్ చేసారా తీసేసారా ఎక్స్క్లూడ్?
They have not been included in the SC.
Now,
Even now, no. The government says there is no empirical evidence, there is no research data, there is no survey report that says that the Christians and the Muslims have faced social disabilities. There is no untouchability issues in the Christians and the Muslims, so there is no point of giving them any SC status. SC status is primarily based on the dimension of untouchability, which is more Hindu generic, and the additional branches of Hindu, that is Sikhism, maybe Jainism and Buddhism. But when it comes to Christianity and other Abrahamic cultures like Islam, there is no concept of untouchability. So there is no concept of SC. That's what is the government.
now they belongs to OBC.
OBC. That's what. Other backward class. That is why that Mandal report gave them that categorization. ठीक? That's what he is saying. Once you convert into Christianity, there is no point of discrimination because there is no social untouchability practice in Christianity. That's what that only showcases that you want to convert only to gain the benefits. So that's why they don't want to encourage, and it has got international repercussions. That clause itself is enough. I told you, no, international, misunderstood internationally, the Supreme Court will never accept, because the moment it is misunderstood internationally, any decision by the Supreme Court, the government will come under the scanner immediately. So will idhar tod dongalu, you will have to understand that. So they will not do anything for which they have to face international repercussions. So it will not happen. Simple and clear. And if it is a rightist government, the minority has to, I told you, the Christian and both minority community. So that is the right wing ideology. That what I told now in the class, left wing extremism jab main padha raha tha. In the right wing ideology, the majority decides what the minority will get and not. The minority cannot question the authority of the majority to what to give and what not to give. The moment it starts questioning, the majority will say that is the exit door. That's the problem. ठीक है? हाँ. That's all. चलो, I am also feeling hungry. Bye bye.